Welcome to Cloud on Air, live webinars from Google Cloud. We are hosting webinars daily. You're watching Partner Up, a show dedicated to learning more about our trusted partners. My name is Katie Bodell, and joining me today is Mitch Greenwald. Today, we will be talking about how Google works with Cloudbakers to bring the cloud down to earth. You can ask questions anytime on the platform, and we have Googlers on standby to answer them. Now let's get started. Mitch, you founded the company about 10 years ago. You're a Google Premier Partner. You have expertise in healthcare, in technology, in media, in professional services, and you're primarily focused in North America. Talk to us a little bit about how you got started.
So I started Cloudbakers 10 years ago. I was a CIO for a mid-market company in Chicago, and during the downturn, really looking to figure out how to save costs because I knew I was going to be asked to cut staff during the downturn, and staff was already razor thin. So started investigating cloud computing and really looked at, it was called Google Apps at the time, and G Suite at this time, and said this is a great way to help our company save some money. And I really looked at things technically, check. Actually moved some applications up to cloud. I looked at Gmail very extensively. Operationally, check, made sense. We could monitor and secure our systems, and financially it made sense. So I started working with Google, and they hooked me up with a partner in New Jersey and one in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So I really said, I think the cloud is going to be something here. So my expression is that I jumped off a cliff, landed on the cloud, formed Cloudbakers without a single client, just the idea to help enterprises move to the cloud. So if you fast forward to today, we've done thousands of migrations. We've helped lots of clients out. We are really focused on North America. We've done a really nice job we're a premier partner with Google, and it's been pretty excellent. So one of the things that's been very, very interesting is that through this whole experience that we've built this great team, we have a great partner in Google Cloud, and we have great loyal customers going forward too. And in the 10 years since we've started, it's gone from a situation of why would I do that to how do I do it and how do I get there? So it's very, 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 very important.
One of the things that people always ask us, and I know Carolyn Riley, who is the head of Google Cloud Sales, and who couldn't be here with us today, but she is on remote. One of her questions she wanted to ask you, Mitch, is if you could share with us, how did the name come up? How did you come up with the name Cloudbakers?
So one of the things that's really, really important is to enjoy what you do and be passionate about it. And I knew 10 years ago cloud wasn't part of the everyday nomenclature that we see today. And I wanted the word cloud in there. But I also wanted to have a little bit of fun with it. And back in the 90s, I'd heard of a company called Digital Kitchen. And it really conjured up, it was an agency, and conjured up all sorts of nice thoughts about the utensils and the kitchen and the good things that go along with cooking. And baking has the same sort of positive connotations that you have there. Everyone likes baked goods. It smells good, brings a smile to your face. We have our smiley cloud that we actually have here too.
Absolutely.
That's really important. And it's, and baking has good connotations, and you might as well have fun with it. Technology is so dry and so matter of fact and sometimes unemotional, if you will, and we want to bring that fun side into it. And then there's also the play on it that baking quite often is systems integration, where you're baking systems together. So baking systems together could be the technical explanation, but it was really about having fun and enjoying work and really making these projects really, really interesting for people. And that kind of leads us into this whole piece about one of the really key learnings through the course of the history of Cloudbakers is that the technical skills are so important. We have dozens and dozens and dozens of certifications. We have a highly certified staff. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, if you will. But going deeper is really the knowledge that we've done from doing all these projects and going through them over and over again and really helping our clients there. But what's been really interesting is putting in a system is one thing, but getting people to adopt it is a whole different thing, and really getting people to be passionate about is another thing. So these people skills about coming through with the solutions that make sense, and quite often a customer goes, I want to do this, or this is what I want to do, this is my goal, and they have a preconceived notion what they want to do, but we work with them and are really solution focused to make sure that we can get there with them, and it's really key to have that open mind, to have those listening skills, and also to be able to get the people to adopt it. And one of the things that's really key is people are quite often, they're in fear of change.
Yeah.
And getting them to adopt to that change, and it's all about addressing those fears, understanding that, and coming up with a solution that makes it better, and explaining to them that way. So it's about those soft skills and communication skills are really key also.
Absolutely. And I think another key part of the company, and one thing that I found when I joined the company 3 years ago, was really the core values. And the core values, I think, of Cloudbakers are really critical to the success of the company. And I know we've had a lot of conversations with the Googlers in the past of what those are, and I think it's important to share those. I think it's a true testament of the company you've built. The first, of course, is integrity and accountability, right? And how everybody at Cloudbakers builds trustworthy relationships with our teams, our partners, our clients, and they're accountable. They have ownership to their services they deliver every day. The second is being solution focused, and to us, that is really possessing this unrelenting clarity and creativity around problem solving, which again, I think you see every day within Cloudbakers. Technology is always changing, so you better be creative on how to solve the next problem, right?
Definitely.
The third is the lifelong learner. And Mitch, I have to say, your commitment to that is incredible. I mean, not only do we see our employees at our company helping our clients get to the next step and the next phase of learning and thought leadership and technology, but your commitment to tuition reimbursement and how people at every level are going back and finishing their undergraduate degrees. They're getting their masters, their first masters, and we've had other people that are getting their second master's degrees. And that commitment is really important to just the structure of the business. The fourth core value of coach and be coached, you and I both know you cannot be a good coach unless you're coachable. And the way that everybody in Cloudbakers receives and gives constructive feedback from every level. You've coached me a lot. I've seen people coach you a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that philosophy and that core value is critical to the company.
Yeah. And feedback is a gift.
Feedback is a gift.
You gotta take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the last core value that is so important is be authentic, be yourself. Your belief that you instilled many years ago with some of the founding members of your team, that these core values were going to be in everything we do, was that everybody has something to say. They have a seat at the table. A diverse team is a winning team, and how you foster authenticity within Cloudbakers is core. And I think that is truly how we've structured the organization. If you look at how you've structured Cloudbakers, it really has affected, it's all around the customer journey. And from starting with our sales research center and our team that talks to prospects, and they find out if they have challenges and what those challenges are and if we can meet those challenges, all the way through our delivery team, our project management team, our solution team, and then our customer success team. That the core values are so entwined with the customer journey and the way you've built the organization. I truly think that's a big part of the success.
Yeah, and we live and breathe it every single day. It's so key to what we do, and it's interesting that when you really believe in your core values and you live by them, that it actually makes things easier. It actually it takes away some of the thought process of decision making, and say, well, if someone ever brings up in an argument that violates our core values, that immediately win the argument, and we go forward with that. So it's really
the decision making process.
Really, and we reward on that. We have awards based on our core values, and our clients know that, and it's very important. And to be authentic, be yourself. Diversity and inclusion is really important. Everybody has a voice, and it's not just the typical terms of diversity and inclusion, it's also thought diversity. Thought diversity is really, really important also because that adds to the whole solution focus of what we bring to the table because everyone has a different perspective. It's really, really key.
Absolutely. Can you spend some time talking about how you've organized the solutions for the clients and how you've organized delivery?
Right, so we only do a few things and we just do them extremely, extremely well. So one of the things that we've really learned through our history is focus is very, very important. And we just do a couple of things, and I'll just go through the practice areas really, really quickly here. We do infrastructure, and that infrastructure modernization is taking people from on-premise or different cloud provider, from data centers, and taking them into the Google Cloud. Really important. Quite often through that, we actually modernize what they're doing too to take advantage of the cloud. The other piece is data modernization. Data modernization is really about getting the data, bringing it together in multiple different facets, getting the building the get the different data repositories, getting data pipelines, and putting them into a data lake, and then being able to visualize that data and really get the insights from that. We'll go into some examples of that in a little bit. And then application development. Building applications that really add value to the business. And application development is quite often where companies can really differentiate themselves too. And then our bread and butter and our backbone is really collaboration productivity, implementing G Suite. The G Suite collaboration aspects are so, so key. And what's really nice is that we have people, so we specialize in these 4 areas, but we have people that are certified, highly trained in these areas. We have certifications in all these areas. We have specializations. We have the application development specialization, the data analytics specialization, the workplace transformation enterprise specialization, and those are really key, and that's just a validation by Google that we're experts in what we do in these fields here. But one of the reasons that people come to us is really, and people that know me and hear me talk, I have a lot of analogies that I use and a lot of phrases. One of the phrases that I like is that, the first when you're making pancakes, the first pancake's for the cat. And because it takes you a while to get the right rhythm and get the pancakes. So we've flipped a lot of pancakes in those 4 practice areas that I just talked about. And one reason that clients come to us is they don't have to go through all the pain and learnings that we've already had, and we get to train them and bring them up to speed. So getting to those pancakes that turn out really well every time.
Absolutely.
That is really, really, really key.
Absolutely. A lot of food analogies here at Cloudbakers, right? Let's talk a little bit about how our practices align with Google's practice. And let's start with work transformation, collaboration, productivity, and the cost savings there.
So we've done, as mentioned, thousands of migrations, really, really interesting. But we're really big believers, so we've learned a lot in that time period. And sharing that learning with our customers and our partners too is really, really important. And that operational transparency is very important. So one of the things that we are very proud of is that we're migration experts, and it's really important to understand that. And by a migration expert means that we've done migrations from Exchange, from Office 365, from IMAP, from dozens and dozens of different solutions, different file systems, different cloud-based systems. And what we have done through our experience is we've developed playbooks for each one of these. So these playbooks are really, really key to what we do. And what they do when you have a playbook, what it ensures is A, that your team is really well trained and understands their processes. So we have these rock solid processes, but also that we don't skip a step, right? That we know exactly what's going on. So it's really, really key. And that's really proof in the pudding, if you will, that we actually have these processes in place. We work with our clients are quite often very progressive, very fast growing organizations, and by fast growth, they grow organically, where they add people, but they also grow inorganically by acquiring other companies. And so the M&A activity we do for our clients is really very, very key. And a lot of our clients, bring in 3, 6 new organizations a year, and we're always the first person that they message to say, hey, Cloudbakers, this is confidential. We need to know when we can get these people brought into our system, because bringing them onto the Gmail and the G Suite platform is really key to making it a one company organization, and the collaboration and understanding how they do that. And a lot of them come from Microsoft backgrounds actually too, and they see what's going on there, and they get that benefit of crossing that chasm basically and learning really how to collaborate and work effectively as a team.
You were just with one of our clients, right? That was a very heavily entrenched Microsoft office.
Yeah, so I was a financial service company on the East Coast. They're a Microsoft shop. They have about 5,000 users. They've been acquiring companies like crazy, and going to G Suite and has transformed the way they do business. It's unbelievable going in there and seeing all the Hangouts that they have and the Hang Up Meet hardware that they have and all their video conferencing, and they do. It was kind of funny that we actually brought up all the adoption metrics they have in place, which are incredible about how well they're using all the tools. And that's one thing that we want to make sure that, client
Absolutely.
success, you have to go in there and you have to do a baseline measurement, and then you have to figure out what's going on. And their adoption scores are through the roof. The number of Hangouts they go is incredible. And they might over hang out sometimes, because sometimes they might be having a hangout with somebody right next to them, and they go, it might be better just to talk to the person there. But it's great. But also, when they're acquiring these companies, it instantly makes them one team and one organization. So it's very, very, very key for what they're doing. And another stat that I'm really proud of is that quite often, people do change jobs, and quite often when a person, one of our clients, leaves to take another position, another company, they call us up right away and say, "We need you to do for us what you did for our previous company." And we have so many repeat customers like that. That's incredible that that happens.
That's a great testament to the success of the projects.
Yes, unbelievable.
And to the team. That's great. Let's talk a little bit more about the application development practice. You said that's the special sauce.
Yes, yeah. So it's quite often interesting in that companies have a lot of data. They have a lot of different systems out there, and being able to collect and monetize that data is really important for our clients. And it brings additional revenue stream, but also brings additional client stickiness. And we do a lot of development work. We've been doing development work on the Google platform for about 8 years now, 9 years. So we were one of the early ones there. And one of the really interesting pieces is that my background's in development. I've done a lot of development in my career too, is that working on Google App Engine is such a highly productive way to work, and it's incredible to see the platform that they have out there. And the productivity is amazing, and what you can get done very quickly is amazing too. So projects don't necessarily have the same length. You could actually get something out there, get something going, and then you could actually build on that. It's very, 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 very interesting. One of our clients, quite often people have a lot of knowledge built into spreadsheets, a lot of processes. We had a client that actually had an application that they distributed out to all their independent resellers, or independent sales producers, if you will. And it had all their product catalog on it, it had quoting information on it, but maintaining this globally across all its information across was really hard. It was hard to distribute it, get them updated, which version do people have. And what we did is we took that information, put it into a cloud-based application. They had one place to update. Everybody was updated instantly on what was there, and they were able to really be able to increase the productivity of their salespeople and the training on it, and they were able to generate quotes. And this is for fire safety equipment for buildings, and for big buildings actually. And they were able to generate quotes on the spot, be able to do the inventory, really key.
Yeah.
So they actually were able to spread this special sauce out to their whole reseller network and build these partner portals. We've seen the same thing with inventory systems for clients that are distributors of manufacturing equipment, that they can go in now and they could actually be able to bring inventory of their systems, even the stuff they don't sell, give their clients the benefit of having the inventory. They have the benefit of knowing the inventory, knowing the age of the equipment,
Absolutely.
and being able to proactively say, this is something that might be failing quickly or soon, and be able to proactively help them, say what the cost is, so they could plan accordingly and really help their business. But the security, the ability to not worry about infrastructure with cloud development, application development is really, really key. And using APIs that can bring your data together to help monetize your data in a unique way is really, really interesting. So really the ability, I can't say this enough, you should just jump in, start showing the business value that IT can provide. Instead of just keeping the lights on, let's provide value to the businesses that are out there in your business units. Really, really key.
That's great. That's great. And there's a lot of information out there about data, right? Data is the new gold.
Yes.
And What are you seeing as far as data and data trends in Cloudbakers?
So there's so much data out there. There's like tons of data out there. So it's really important to be able to get the data, and data quite often people say is the new gold out there, but it's the insights that you get from that data that's really key, and it's very, very important. And data visualization tools like Data Studio and Looker are really great for clients, but Google has just phenomenal data capabilities, and our team has worked building these data pipelines out there and these data lakes, and they, whether you're using Cloud SQL for your SQL database, building BigQuery for your data warehouse, using Cloud Data Store to build your data lakes, really, really key to get this out there. But it's very, very interesting, and there's some, Spanner out there too is a, huge globally consistent database that's kind of groundbreaking about what they do. So really, really key about those. But some of the really interesting pieces are the machine learning that's going on out there. And we have a great, this is a great pancake story, since you might see that I like pancakes. But we use some of the machine learning APIs that are out there, and we said, you know what? Customer satisfaction surveys are really, you generally get like a 10% return on it. You don't necessarily get everybody, but there's a lot of data that's hidden in your organization. This is a great way to talk about the data that's uncovered that you can monetize. There's data in your organization that you're not monitoring, whether it's from your email, from your ticketing system, and we said we should take this information and harvest it basically in a way that makes sense. So we actually use the machine learning APIs that Google has out there to do sentiment analysis and customer sentiment analysis. And our first take on it was actually doing a video base grab of a person happy or sad to see how you're going to do it through some of the sentiment, the visual sentiment analysis. They go, well, we could use this actually for customer satisfaction. So what we've taken is we've actually taken data from ticketing systems and all the exchanges that are out there, and then graph that together to see, what are customers, which ones are happy and which aren't happy. Go, okay, and we got this pretty complicated scattergram, and people look at us and go, well, I need a data scientist to understand this. And go, well, let's simplify things, and simplifying things is a very, Mark Twain wrote once, sorry for the long letter, I didn't have time to write you a short one. And it takes a long time to simplify something. And it's really interesting to go through this and go, well, we have to simplify this. So what we did is we actually simplified it, brought it down to a specific number of customer satisfaction between 1 and 10 that you can see right where you are. You could have a scoreboard for your agents that are doing really well and the agents aren't doing well. So you could coach the agents that aren't doing well from the agents that are doing really well. And you can see the customers that actually have the highest degree of satisfaction and the lowest degree of satisfaction, so you can know where you're, where you should concentrate, and you could also see the revenue those clients are generating. So you could actually see, okay, this is a high revenue client that's not too happy. Let's figure out what's going on here. Very, 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 very important. But building these data pipelines really key. The visualization of the APIs, the machine learning that you do. We actually have somebody that's actually analyzing movements to figure out how you can walk better and run better and actually do activities better too, which is really key. And
it's infinite, the possibilities.
It's infinite. It's amazing.
It's very, very exciting. And the other trend that we see now is infrastructure, right? And infrastructure modernization. Can you spend some time talking to us about modernizing infrastructure with Google?
Yeah, so there's a lot of steps that go into this, and this is really a low-hanging fruit, if you will, of going to the cloud. And you could do a lift and shift and just move your infrastructure, but there's quite often things that you could do that actually could optimize it, could scale it better, that you can go from an operational to a no operational type of piece, which is really key. And there's really a few steps that go along with it. You have to really discover what you currently have. You have to design what it's going to look like in the future, and then you have to deploy it. And deploying it, and it's all really in the upfront work on how to get the most value out of it. And then afterwards, monitoring and managing it are really, really, really key. So we got into one customer, they're in the consumer product goods space, and they have a very big Oracle environment. They have a lot of Linux servers out there and Windows servers out there. And we went in and actually just did an analysis of what they have and realized that a really quick win is using Stackdriver to monitor, to do centralized logging for what they're doing. They could actually use, long-term, might be using something like Cloud Spanner to replace the Oracle database and saving them tons of money and making it really, really key. And then the third, more R&D, was to use machine learning. So they do a lot of labeling on products. They actually analyze labels, and they distribute that information to a lot of grocery stores and other places also. And to be able to identify if it's fair trade, if it's kosher, if it's organic, those are things that are really hard. And they can do that by visually looking at the labels and using the machine learning APIs to get there. So really, really, really key.
Really powerful.
Yeah, so.
That's great. So there's the 4 main practice areas that you have within Cloudbakers. And we talked a lot earlier about the core values and the customer journey. The other part that I think is pretty impressive is the focus on the customer experience. I mean, specifically the people. I mean, we've talked, just a couple examples that come to mind is, you've mentioned a couple times, is our CAP team, our change and adoption team. They not only, yes, everybody needs training, but the way they do it is so different than a lot of competitors, where they are in with the project teams, they understand the nuances of all the projects. They work with the clients to understand what they want from adoption. Where do they want to succeed? In what areas? What collaboration tools? And how are we going to measure that? And so the way the CAP team and our change and adoption team really helps our clients is so integral to the success and the customer experience. I think the other is the care team, which is another team that a couple of years ago when you were helping pull that together, it was a customer-focused team that can handle, it's a one-stop shop for every customer to come to get their questions answered, and also to provide tech support. As we know, with the Google Cloud Platform, with all technology, there's tech support. And I think we've heard from Google the fact that our team can answer 90% of the Google technical questions that come to us.
It's 98% in the most recent.
98% recently?
The most
I haven't
recent
seen
data
that
we
one.
have, yeah.
Is great, and it speaks volumes of our responsiveness and the level of insight our team has about the product, and also we know how our clients' systems are configured. So it's a much better response, a much more intimate response.
To go along with what you were saying about the adoption and the CAP and our marketing program, so we talked about the migration, and we have these playbooks for the migrations for everything, which are very technical, very tried to. CAP is a little bit more squishy in a lot of ways. And what's really important to know is that we have playbooks for CAP too, but what we do through that 50% people skills is we listen to what our clients are looking for. We understand their environment. Every culture is different. Every group has different naysayers and people that aren't there. So we customize the material for them, and we modify it. We have the templates that are based on it, but we have to take their input on it. And this is all about how we collaborate with them too, and it's really, really key. And we quite often actually, no one knows a company like they know their company themselves, basically. And we actually work with them so they actually are the thought leaders out there and put them in the place and make sure that this comes in their tone and their message and their voice, which is really, really key.
Absolutely, very impactful, very impactful. And I think really to sum it up is, with Cloudbakers, it's really about having the top talent, the right people on the job. It's the proven processes, and its ability to execute. And with the team you've built at Cloudbakers, coupled with the amazing technology of the Google Cloud Platform, it's truly how you and Cloudbakers bring the cloud down to earth.
That's great.
Before we go to question and answers, Mitch, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
I would just, you got to jump in. You got to jump in. You're already on your journey. It's really key to do that. Add the value to the business, right? The value is not keeping the lights on. It's kind of funny that no CEO's ever gone up to the CIO or director of IT and say, "Great job on that Active Directory upgrade this weekend." Never happens.
Thankless job.
Thankless job. So add the value to the business, to the modernization, to the data, through the different applications that are out there. And you're not alone. You have a partner in us. Our experience will cushion your landing. Really, really key. And join us in the cloud. We make it much easier for you than doing it yourself, and you'll have a good time doing it too. So, thank you.
That's great, Mitch. Well, that is it for the presentation portion of the talk. So please stay tuned for frequently asked questions. We will be back in less than a minute. Welcome back. We have a few questions that have come in. Mitch, the first question is, can you talk about regulated industries and what you've seen with their performance on the Google platform?
So we work with a lot of financial institutions and also a lot of healthcare institutions also. And it's very interesting. So security is a top concern for everybody, and also having different security regulations that are being certified in certain places. And the Google Cloud Platform is like highly certified. It's, I don't know how many dozens and dozens and dozens of certifications they have, and the security is there. But those are really important. And we actually see a gradation. So the Google G Suite in particular, the enterprise offering lets you have data loss prevention in it. So you can see that social security numbers or PCI type information or PII information can't be distributed outside the system, so you can actually catch it before it goes out, really key. And the ability to have rules and regulations that are rules on it or policies that don't let you distribute that across outside your system, inside your system, have security controls on that is very key. And you could apply the same rules to your email system as well as to your documents and your collaboration, which actually has a lot of value. So we actually see the highly regulated industries getting more into the cloud because Google in particular has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that are just focused on the security for these things, which especially in a startup or mid-market company, they can't have that type of knowledge to secure their systems in the same way and make sure that they follow the regulations.
Absolutely, and the HIPAA requirements and all of that is
HIPAA is a huge thing, and the BAs really
so important to part of the industry. Okay, the other question that's coming through is about data. Can you give an example of a data pipeline that you've worked with a client, and what was the value to the client? Yeah,
so we've worked with a number of clients building data pipelines from lots of different sources, and one of them was actually pretty interesting. They were deployed on Amazon, and they were having a hard time actually keeping up with the flow of data coming in, and they were monitoring social media streams coming in. So we re-engineered their system to go on Google Cloud Platform and using some of the data tools, and now they can see the data coming in real time. And it's actually it's a not-for-profit that is very important to respond to public sentiment very quickly.
Sure.
So they were able to see trends extremely quickly, put it on Google Cloud Platform, get the information in real time, and be able to respond very quickly, which is really key. Another one was a video compression system where they're analyzing frames of data, and it was just it was slow, and then we actually ended up increasing their processing speed by about 50 times to process the data. So, and what's really fun is they spun up hundreds of virtual machines in a matter of minutes to get that going. Trying to do that in a data center or on premise would have been impossible to do that.
Yep. Okay. Great. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Please visit Cloud OnAir for more content from Google Cloud experts.